Hey guys, what's going on? Brendan Miller here, back with another video. Today's video I am super excited about. We are going to be comparing an $8 swim bait versus a $26 swim bait to find out which one is the better value for the money. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, I've been fishing soft plastic swim baits for years, and I really enjoy them. They've been very successful for me, but I've never really delved into the hard bait scene. I mean, let's face it, if you want to be a cool angler, you buy yourself one of these big hard bait swim baits. They are what you call dope or lit. Now, I have never really gotten into hard bait swim baits basically because they are stinking expensive. A good swim bait can run you anywhere from $50 to $100, and the low end ones will cost roughly around $20 to $30. So these are the two swim baits we'll be taking a look at today. On this hand, we have the $8 swim bait from eBay. This one didn't have any branding on it. Drop this one. This swim bait, like I said, has no branding on it whatsoever, so I don't know who makes these. I know Cabela's sells some that are kind of similar, so I'm guessing a lot of people rebrand them as their own. Then I went on Tackle Warehouse and picked up this guy right here. This is the Castaic BD Shad. And let me tell you, this bait was significantly more money. It cost me $26, plus once you add shipping, you're looking at over $30 for this one swim bait. So let's start by comparing both these swim baits with the basic design and paint finish. So as you can see, we have the $8 swim bait here. Like I said, it is made up of 3 joints of plastic that allow it to move freely back and forth. And it has this real image paint design on it, which is basically like a picture of a fish that they print onto the actual lure. Pretty cool. This has a smooth finish on it with a little bit of raised material here around the gills and some eyes. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And on the bottom we have 2 hooks. Now these hooks are not the sharpest hooks in the world, but they're not the worst hooks I've ever seen. So overall, this bait looks pretty decent. But when we take a look at the Castaic bait, we have a lot more to work with. This bait, even though it is the same length at 6 inches, is almost double the width, and it is a lot more chunky and has a lot more heft to it. Overall, though, I will say I like the design of this bait. It looks really realistic to a shad. Looking at the head of the bait, we can see there is also a raised gill area, but there's also a raised fin area, and the rest of the bait has a nice texture to it to kind of imitate scales. The eyes are a little bit bigger than the one on the eBait, but they're pretty much the same design. It's also got a raised fin and a really nice feather or fur tail in the back. Nice touch. This bait has the exact same printed bait fish look as the eBay one. This one, however, is in a gizzard shad color. But looking closer at this print job, I can see that it's not as sharp and not as detailed as the other one. That might have something to do with the fact that they are stretching it over a bigger bodied bait, but I can see these really weird print lines all the way down the bait. It's just something to note. Now let's talk about the hooks. The hooks on this bait are fantastic. We have this massive treble hook here in the back that is extremely sharp, and it's sticking all over my fingers all the time. It's a really nice hook. And in the front, we have something even cooler. We have a 3-prong treble hook, but the prongs are positioned all facing down so that the hook can sit snugly against the bottom of the bait. And speaking of sitting snugly, they've inserted a little magnet that allows the hook to stay right there. Really nice touch. So as you guys can see, these baits are pretty comparable when it comes to aesthetics. They both have the same type of finish. They both have good hooks. They both have the same type of eyes. However, this bait has a little more attention to detail with the raised fin and raised gill slits and the feathered tail. But now it's time to take both these baits out into the field and see which one is the most durable and see which one has the better swimming action. So the main thing I wanted to test with these baits was the action, which one had the better action. And I'm going to say it right now, the Castaic has the edge when it comes to action. No doubt about it. This bait has a beautiful action, a very graceful side-to-side swimming action, and when you pause this bait, it actually turns back on itself a little bit, which is a really cool feature. Looking at the $8 eBay swim bait, the action isn't bad by any means, but it does have a stiffer action compared to the Castaic. There's no doubt about it. And when you stop it, it doesn't really turn back on itself. And I found that reeling it at high speeds, it tended to swim a little bit on its side. Not a ton, but just enough, and it was definitely noticeable. So the next thing I want to test with these baits is durability. I sometimes don't cast where I want to cast. I've hit trees, rocks, docks, and all of these things can damage your bait. So I wanted to see how these baits would handle a little bit of abuse. So I basically casted the castaic bait against some rocks. So I was just testing the durability of that $26 bait. I threw it against some rocks because, let's face it, when you're out fishing, you're not always going to be making perfect casts, and the bait totally blew apart. Let's go check it out. This is all I was able to salvage from it right here. The bait totally just blew apart. Not cool. So yeah, that didn't work out so well. The first time it hit the rocks, it was totally fine. The paint was barely even harmed. But the second time I hit the rocks, the bait totally disintegrated. And it kind of stunk. So with that in mind, I tried the second bait, the $8 bait from eBay, and I threw that against some rocks. And honestly guys, it took a lot more work to destroy this bait. I wasn't even trying to destroy it, but I wanted to give it a fair comparison against the castaic. Eventually it did break apart, but it took a whole lot more abuse. I spent $26 on the castaic swim bait. I would think if I'm spending $26 on a bait that it would at least be somewhat durable. But one direct hit against a rock totally disintegrated the bait. Granted, it is a heavy bait, so it has a lot more momentum when it hits the rocks. But still, I was fairly disappointed in the durability. Now looking at the eBay swim bait, obviously it doesn't weigh as much, so it's not going to have as much impact force when it hits a rock. The eBay swim bait definitely fared better in the area of durability. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'll let you guys make your own decisions in the comments below. So now it's time for the verdict. Which bait is worth the money? And I'm sorry to say, I'm gonna have to go with the $8 swim bait from eBay. For what you're paying for $8, this bait is actually pretty decent. It's a lot more durable than the castaic, whether that's because it's lighter or because it's made better. I really enjoyed this bait. Granted, the action isn't as good as the castaic, but it definitely is good enough to catch you fish. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. Now, as far as the castaic goes, I really dug the design of that bait. The way it imitated a shad was amazing. The action was spot on, but the durability really let me down on this bait. Would I spend another $26 on this bait? Maybe, but I would have to be a lot more careful with it. So guys, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and you want to see more videos like this where I compare two baits together, let me know in the comments below what baits I should compare next, and I would be happy to make a video comparing them. Also guys, if you want to support the channel, you can buy this Stay Hooked shirt right here. I made it myself. Really dig the design of this. If you guys want to support the channel and keep me making videos, because let's face it, adpocalypse, right? Check those out at the link right here. Also, if you want to see when I post new videos, be sure to subscribe and check out my last video right here. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay hooked.